There are thousands of Pokémon cards in the world, but only a select few have ever sold for over six figures. These aren't just childhood memories, these are genuine collector's items, worth as much as luxury cars or even entire houses. From ultra-rare tournament prizes to legendary Charizards, this is every Pokémon card that has ever sold for over $100,000. We begin with one of the rarest modern Pokémon cards, the Japanese Extra Battle Day Full Art Lillie, released in 2019. Lillie is already a fan-favorite character from Pokémon Sun and Moon, both in the games and anime. But this version isn't just popular, it's exceptionally rare. Here's why. The Extra Battle Day event was held in Japan across late 2019 and early 2020. Originally meant to run 4 times, only 2 sessions happened before a certain virus shut things down. Players needed to win a lottery just to enter, then compete across multiple criteria. And even winning didn't guarantee this Lillie card. Champions receive prize booster packs with a chance at one of 3 full art rares, with this one being the rarest of them all. In July 2023, a PSA 10 gem mint copy sold for $108,000 on Fanatics Collect, and reportedly, another sold privately in China for $170,000 just a month later. Next up, we've got the 2006 World Championships No. 2 Trainer promo, one of the rarest tournament cards Pokémon has ever produced. It was awarded exclusively at the Pokémon World Championships in August 2006, held in California. To earn this card, players had to win 6 straight matches on day 1, battle through day 2, and then reach the finals in their division on the last day. After all that, finalists were handed this unique prize, a silver-themed promo card featuring Pikachu holding a trophy. According to the auction house that sold it, this particular copy is the only one graded by PSA, and it's believed that only 3 copies were ever given out. In 2021, this PSA-graded copy sold for $110,000, cementing its place as one of the most coveted World Championship promos in the hobby. Now for something truly unusual, the Disco Holofoil Charizard test print. Back in the late 1990s, when Wizards of the Coast had just secured the license to produce English-language Pokémon cards, they ran extensive tests before launching the final product. That included experimenting with different holofoil patterns, printing materials, and graphic layouts. One of those experiments produced this Charizard, featuring a completely unreleased foiling treatment with a totally unique disco-style effect not seen anywhere else. The card is also missing some key elements. No energy symbols, no flavor text, not even the Charmeleon artwork in the evolution window. It's a stripped-down, behind-the-scenes look at how Pokémon cards were developed for the Western market. Because these were never meant to leave the printing floor, only a handful of Disco Holofoil Charizards are known to exist. In September 2023, one of them sold through Golden Auctions for $113,000, a serious price for what is essentially a prototype. Next up is the 2001 Neo Summer Battle Road No. 2 Trainer card. This isn't just a rare card, it's a true one-of-one. Awarded exclusively to the second-place finisher in Japan's 2001 Neo Summer Battle Road National Championship, this card features a portrait of the finalist, Takahiro Ikeda, alongside the legendary Pokémon Holo. In 2023, this card finally surfaced and sold for $132,000. Now let's talk about one of the strangest and rarest Pokémon cards ever created, the Pokémon Snap Contest Magikarp. This card wasn't sold in stores. It wasn't handed out at tournaments. It was awarded through a one-off promotion tied to Pokémon Snap, the N64's photography-based Pokémon spin-off game from 1999. Nintendo ran a contest in Japan where fans were invited to submit their best in-game photographs. 10 winners were selected, and each of them received 20 copies of a custom Pokémon card featuring their photo printed as the card's artwork. Among those 10 unique cards, one stands above the rest in terms of rarity, the Magikarp. This particular card gives photo credit to the competition winner, Yuka Matsubara, and he was the only person in the world to ever receive copies of this specific card. For years, collectors speculated whether any copies would ever surface. Then in 2022, one finally did. A single copy appeared on Yahoo Auctions Japan and sold for $136,000. That was the first and only confirmed sale of a Pokémon Snap Contest Magikarp. Next up is the 2000 Super Secret Battle Number 2 Trainer card, a true one-of-one with a personal touch. This card was specially created for Toshiyuki Yamaguchi, a young trainer who earned second place at the Secret Super Battle Best in Japan Finals, held in August 2000. Because of its one-of-a-kind status, this card had long been considered a ghost in the hobby. But on July 7, 2023, it resurfaced at Heritage Auctions and sold for $137,000. Now we move to one of the most iconic cards from Pokemon's second generation, the first edition Neo Genesis Holo Lugia. Released in late 2000 as part of the Neo Genesis set, this was Lugia's first ever appearance on an English-language trading card. Lugia wasn't just another legendary, it was the face of Pokémon Silver, appearing on the cover of the Game Boy game and starring in its own movie. That popularity carried over to the TCG, where this Holofoil card quickly became a must-have for collectors. What sets this particular sale apart is the grade. In May 2021, a copy graded BGS Pristine 10, one of only 3 in the world, sold through Fanatics Collect for $144,000. Now we come to one of the rarest and most exclusive Pokémon cards ever printed, the 1999 Secret Super Battle Number 1 Trainer. This wasn't just a prize card. It was also your literal ticket to the finals of the 1999 Secret Super Battle Tournament in Japan. The event was one of the most secretive and prestigious in Pokémon history. Only players who had already won regional qualifiers were invited, and upon arrival, each finalist was awarded this card. It's believed that just 7 copies were ever produced. And bold Japanese text states, by presenting this card, you may gain preferential entry into the Secret Super Battle. Of those 7 copies, 6 have been graded PSA Gem Mint 10. In September 2022, one of them sold through Heritage Auctions for $156,000. Now for a card that proves Pokémon has always been about more than just competition. The family event trophy Kangaskhan, awarded back in 1998 at a special parent-child tournament in Japan. Unlike typical Pokémon TCG tournaments, this event was designed to bring families together. Each team had to consist of both a parent and a child, battling side by side. Teams that placed high enough on the ladder were awarded this unique trophy card. The card itself features Kangaskhan in a mother and child pose, which fits perfectly with the tournament's theme. It also bears the original Pocket Monsters trading card game logo as its set symbol rather than the standard Pokémon TCG logo, marking it as an early and ultra-rare piece of Pokémon history. And yes, those families that held onto their copy definitely made the right call. In October 2020, a PSA 10 Gem Mint example sold for $150,000 on eBay. That record was surpassed in July 2023 when another PSA 10 sold at Heritage Auctions for $175,000. Next up, we have one of the hardest earned cards in the entire Pokémon world, the 2005 Play Promo Holo Umbreon. This card wasn't handed out randomly. To get it, Members of Japan's Pokémon Players Club had to grind out a whopping 70,000 XP points. That extreme difficulty is what makes this card so valuable, but it doesn't stop there. The Holofoil version of this Umbreon was exclusive to Japan. It never saw an English language release. In September 2023, a PSA 10 graded copy sold for $135,000, followed by another record-breaking sale in February 2024, when another 10 sold for $180,000 through Fanatics Collect. Onto the top 10 we go, with a truly bizarre piece of Pokémon history, the test print gold border Blastoise. We've already touched on early Wizards of the Coast test prints, and that is where this card comes from. This test print gold border Blastoise has a bunch of strange features. Its back is a Magic the Gathering card, the border is gold rather than yellow, and the front of the card is foiled, a new technique for Wizards of the Coast at the time. Only a handful of these gold border Blastoise test prints have ever surfaced. They were never meant to leave Wizards' offices. When one did appear on the open market, collectors knew exactly what they were looking at. A true relic from the earliest days of Pokémon in the West. In 2021, one sold at auction for $216,000. Now for something completely different. The Ishihara GX promo doesn't feature a single Pokémon. Instead, it showcases Tsunekazu Ishihara, the president and founder of the Pokémon Company himself. This wasn't a card you could pull from a pack, win in a tournament, or even buy in a store. It was created specifically to celebrate Ishihara's 60th birthday in 2017 and handed out exclusively to Pokémon Company employees who attended his birthday party. Most copies that have surfaced over the years have sold for around $50,000. But that's nothing compared to what happens when you add Ishihara's autograph. In April 2021, a signed copy of the Ishihara GX promo graded PSA 7 sold for close to $250,000. Next up, we've got another card from the same 1999 Nintendo 64 Pokémon Snap contest as the famous Snap Magikarp. This time, it's the Pokémon Snap Contest Pikachu card. Winners of the contest had their in-game photographs turned into real Pokémon cards, with just 20 copies of each card printed exclusively for each winner. For years, the Snap Pikachu remained something of a legend in the hobby, talked about but never seen in an actual sale. That changed in June 2023 when collectors from Pro Retro X tracked down a copy. It wasn't just on display, it was for sale. And after some negotiation, they purchased it for a staggering $270,000. Now let's talk about one of the very first Pokémon prize cards ever made, the Trophy Pikachu #3 Trainer. This one dates all the way back to June 1997, less than a year into the Pokémon trading card game's existence. This card was awarded at Pokémon's very first official tournament in Japan, and things were a little different back then. 1,000 children aged up to 15 were chosen by lottery to compete. The prize for finishing third or fourth in one of the 4 tournament brackets was the #3 trainer card featuring Pikachu holding a bronze trophy. Only 8 copies are known to exist, all accounted for in the PSA census. In April 2023, one of these cards sold through Fanatics Collect for $324,000. Not bad for a prize given out back when kids were just learning how to play. Now we move into true collector royalty with the signed Japanese first edition base set holo Charizard, a card that combines 2 of the most powerful forces in the Pokémon world, Charizard and Mitsuhiro Arita. Released in 1996, 2 years before Pokémon cards arrived in English, the original Japanese base set had its own first edition marker. There's no rarity symbol in the bottom right corner of the card. If that space is blank, you know you're looking at a first edition. But this particular Charizard wasn't just any first edition. It was graded a PSA 10, one of only 10 copies in the world. And on top of that, it was personally signed by Mitsuhiro Arita, the legendary illustrator who drew the original Charizard artwork. Unsurprisingly, it commanded a serious price. In April 2022, this signed gem mint 10 Charizard sold through heritage auctions for $324,000. Into the top 5 we go, with the presentation Blastoise. Back in 1998, Wizards of the Coast was trying to convince Nintendo to give them the license to produce Pokémon cards outside Japan. As part of that pitch, they printed up 2 prototype cards. One of them was this, the presentation Blastoise. It looks familiar, but it's full of small, important differences. The fonts are slightly off, the corners are squared, the back is blank. The card was made purely for presentation purposes. These quirks are what make it so unique and valuable. Only 2 copies of this card are known to have existed, and one of those may be lost forever. That leaves just a single confirmed copy in circulation. In January 2021, it sold through heritage auctions for $360,000, briefly becoming the most expensive Pokémon card ever sold at the time. Now we're down to the final stretch, and there's no way we could leave off this card, the first edition base set Holo Charizard from 1999. For over 2 decades, this card has been the face of the hobby. Like all first edition Pokémon cards, this card is shadowless, printed without the dark border on the frame. This was changed in later print runs, but for serious collectors, that shadowless border and first edition stamp is something to chase. In October 2020, a PSA 10 first edition Charizard was purchased by rapper Logic for $220,000. Just a month later, another one sold for $295,000. But that wasn't the ceiling. In 2022, a pristine PSA 10 copy sold for $420,000. For many collectors, the first edition Charizard is the ultimate status symbol within the Pokémon card world. Next up, we've got one of the rarest and most expensive prize cards in Pokémon history, the Trophy Pikachu #2 Trainer. This card was awarded to second-place winners at Pokémon's earliest tournaments in 1997 and 1998. It features an original illustration by legendary artist Mitsuhiro Arita, showing Pikachu proudly holding a trophy with a line of text saying it's from the first ever Pokémon tournament. Only 15 copies of the #2 Trainer card were ever produced. Out of those, just 4 have survived long enough to be graded by PSA. In September 2023, the only PSA 10 copy from the second ever tournament in 1998 sold for a whopping $444,000 at Golden Auctions. Now we're down to the final 2, and this one might catch you off guard. It's the Topson Blueback Charizard. Technically, it isn't even part of the official Pokémon trading card game, but that hasn't stopped it from becoming one of the most valuable Pokémon collectibles in existence. Before creatures developed the Pokémon TCG we know today, a company called Topson released their own series of prototype Pokémon cards in Japan. Topson cards were distributed as bonus inserts with chewing gum. Each pack contained 2 cards and 2 pieces of gum. What really sets this card apart is the blue back. Most Topson cards feature a green back. The blue version is from the earliest print run, and as you might expect, there aren't many of these out there. PSA reports only 31 graded copies of the blue back, unnumbered Topson Charizard. In January 2021, a PSA 10 copy of the card sold for close to $500,000. Now for the grand finale, the most expensive Pokémon card ever, the Pikachu Illustrator. If you know anything about rare Pokémon cards, you probably already saw this one coming. The Pikachu Illustrator was a promo card handed out to winners of a 1998 illustration competition run through Japanese magazine Koro. Only 39 copies were ever printed. And unlike any other Pokémon card, it carries the unique Illustrator title instead of Trainer at the top. It features Pikachu holding a paintbrush engaging in some art of his own. There's also a special pin icon in the bottom right corner that can't be found on any other card. It's unknown exactly how many Pikachu Illustrator cards are still in existence, but one thing we do know is that there is only one PSA Gem Mint 10 version of the card. Until January 2021, a PSA 9 copy was the most expensive Pokémon card ever, when it sold at auction for $233,000. It lost that title briefly, but it would reclaim the title in 2022 when a PSA 7 version sold for $900,000. This got people thinking. If a PSA 7 was worth nearly $1 million, what would the only PSA 10 in existence be worth? We wouldn't have to wait long to find out. Just 1 month later, that answer made headlines. YouTuber Logan Paul was able to track down the owner of the only PSA 10, and he negotiated for over 5 months before agreeing to pay a jaw-dropping $4 million, as well as a PSA 9 version of the card, which he bought for $1,275,000 a few months earlier, taking his total to $5,275,000. Making it by far the most expensive Pokémon card ever sold.